Okay, Unit 1, Module 7 is about communicating effectively. Okay, you'll regularly come into contact with members of the public during the course of your duties. You will also regularly interact with other members of staff and people from other organisations like police, paramedics, ambulance, fire service. Effective communication is vital. Communication is the sending and receiving of signals. The sender decides the thoughts they wish to pass on, encodes those thoughts into the most effective form of communication, and then sends those thoughts to the receiver. The receiver takes in the message and replies if necessary, and the receiver and sender check understanding. It's important that if you're going into a risky situation where you're dealing with people, you need to make sure that the person you're radioing through to has understood your message and that you've got backup on the way. You don't want to go into a situation and get yourself hurt, assuming that your colleague has heard you when they might not have understood. Okay. The makeup of communication, the actual words you used, plus how we say those words, and all other non-verbal signals like body language equals communication. Verbal communication is when you interact with another person using words and tone to convey your message. The words you use are important, but so is the tone in which you use those words. Non-verbal communication is everything else you do when communicating with another person on a face-to-face basis. How you stand, what you're wearing, how close you are to the other person, your facial expressions and eye contact, how you use your hands and other physical gestures. These all help to convey your message. To effectively communicate in the workplace, you'll need to choose an appropriate medium and use appropriate language for the message and recipient it's intended for. Deliver the message clearly. Check the recipient's understanding of the message, for example, by asking them to repeat the message back to you. Communicating effectively will also help to prevent misunderstandings. Okay, there it is again. It helps to prevent misunderstandings, prevent mistakes being made, reduce incidents of conflict, aggression or violence. Security operatives need to come across as positive, assertive and professional at all times if they're to be treated with respect by anyone they come into contact with. And effective communication in a team is essential. Communication skills play an important role in how you interact with your colleagues, supervisors and managers. You should treat all members of staff with courtesy and respect, and you should expect to be treated in the same way. Good teamwork in the workplace promotes safety, provides a professional and safe service and establishment, supports your colleagues and promotes efficiency. All customers are different people with different needs and expectations. People form their own personal values as they grow up. Security operatives need to take into account other people's values and try to choose the most appropriate and effective way of dealing with them. You may need to consider adapting how you would communicate with individuals who have particular needs, such as physical disabilities, learning difficulties, sensory impairment, English as a second language, being under the influence of drink or drugs. You may need to speak slower when giving information, assistance or directions, or draw a picture to provide guidance. Remember, it's important to acknowledge and respect all individuals. One main role of a security operative is looking after people. How people are treated is very important. Customer care is about delivering service and providing security to customers on a day-to-day basis. Examples of delivering good customer care include being professional with every customer, being approachable, communicating with them effectively, acknowledging them, concerning yourself with customers' needs, build a rapport, so a relationship, getting them to like you, treating the customer as you would wish to be treated yourself, going out of your way to help customers, leaving customers pleased with how you dealt with them. Good customer service can often avoid problems occurring, even if the problems have been caused by you or are out of your control. Haven't been caused by you or are out of your control. To appease the customer in these circumstances, you can acknowledge and listen to them, establish the customer's needs, put yourself in the customer's position, accept responsibility for the problem. I wouldn't accept that you're the cause of the problem, no, so that's a bit of a grey area. But you can still assist or be helpful, can't you? Involve the customer in the proposed solution, see it through and make sure any promised actions are carried out. Security operatives must understand that every single person they come into contact with is a customer. Security operatives provide customer service to both internal and external customers, direct and indirect. So your internal customers, internally within your own company, your customers include your work colleagues, supervisors, managers, and anyone working for any other company or organisation on the site. And your external customers are other customers who may come into contact with you, like visitors to the site, workmen, delivery drivers, the emergency services, neighbours, members of the public. So the people you work with are classed as internal customers, and anybody from outside your organisation are normally considered to be external customers. Okay, the NATO phonetic alphabet was developed in the 1950s to be intelligible and pronounceable to all NATO allies in the heat of a battle. It's now widely used in business and telecommunications in Europe and the rest of the world, and it requires words to be spelled out by their letters during a conversation. The normal alphabet cannot be used, as some letters, for example P, B, C and D, sound similar, and over certain media can be totally indistinguishable. So there's your phonetic alphabet. You will need to use the phonetic alphabet on radio during your practical assessments, when you're doing searches, dealing with conflict, and also showing how to use equipment as a door supervisor. You will need to use the phonetic alphabet. So there it is. If you need to take a photo or screenshot, please do, and learn how to use the phonetic alphabet. Okay, so provide 3 examples of verbal and non-verbal communication. Please go back, look at what we've just covered, and then make notes on verbal and non-verbal communication. Give 3 examples of good customer service. Again, you might need to look back. And state the importance of effective communication in the workplace.